Taking inspiration from existing works is a quintessential part of the creative process. In some ways, all works draw on and contribute to the existing body of works. When we learn to play an instrument, we are all taught the same scales and practice by playing other people's songs. When we interviewed the musicians on copyrightuser.org and asked, "Do you use other people's work?" some of them said no. While they may not directly take from existing work, it is unlikely, if not impossible, that they do not draw inspiration from others. Did you know the word inspiration has a historically theological meaning in English, meaning divine influence upon a person? From around the early 14th century, the word enspiren meant to fill the mind and heart with grace or influence from divine power. The root of the word comes from the Latin word for breath, spire. That's probably not how you pronounce it, meaning spirit. In the 16th century, it also became a word meaning breathing life into. You could say that inspiration is perhaps some kind of divine influence that enables a person to breathe life into their creativity. Even setting aside any religious or spiritual views, there is also something about creativity and inspiration that is mysteriously out of body. Often, creators have explained their creative process as being meditative or involving losing their sense of their worldly self. Essentially, creativity is magic and cool. I read a book once, Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, where Gilbert talks about her theory on how creativity works, something akin to a kind of collective consciousness. She tells a story in the book of an experience where she had an idea that she never got around to expressing, and she believed that as a result, the idea was passed on to someone else, who later produced the idea without discussion. I love this notion of creativity because it is humbling. And in that mindset, there is a balance of understanding that you have copyright in the expression of the idea, but at the same time, you are also a mere conduit for creativity, for the idea to be expressed through you. Researchers study creativity and inspiration, but it is not something we can really pinpoint. Some argue that creativity is part of human nature, that we can all be creative. This depends on how broadly you think about the concept of creativity, which can include scientific discoveries as much as poetry. There is also something of an archetypal creator who struggles with mental health. The idea that suffering is a required element of a great creator. This argument is often quickly supported by a retelling of how Vincent van Gogh cut off his ear and then later shot himself. However, the story of Van Gogh can be told another way. He painted despite his mental health challenges, not as a result of them. In letters to his brother, he wrote that painting helped him, and when things were bad, he only painted on good days. Research indicates that a positive mood enhances creativity, and that creativity enhances happiness. As Mozart famously said, "When I am, as it were, completely myself, entirely alone and of good cheer, say travelling in a carriage or walking after a good meal, or during the night when I cannot sleep, it is on such occasions that my ideas flow best, and most abundantly. Whence and how they come, I know not, nor can I force them." Having said that, there is also staggering research that clearly shows musicians are suffering with their mental health. In 2019, Record Union found that 73% of independent musicians have battled stress, anxiety, and depression. After the tragic loss of many artists to suicide in recent years, there has been an increase in services, resources, and openness about mental health in the music industry. In summary to this part, we don't exactly know what creativity or inspiration is, but it can be found somewhere between magic, mystery, and the last door on the left. It apparently makes us happy, even though lots of us are sad. Drawing inspiration from existing works is part of the creative process. Copyright does not regulate inspiration. It regulates copying.